In speaking with the science faculty about primary points of difficulty that their students encountered, the very first issue raised in all of the sciences involved the concept of the scientific method. Students were confusing an idea with a hypothesis with a theory, and the faculty asked us if we might be able to develop a game that could help students master the concepts.
The Colmena team came together and developed a series of iterations of a game that matched 20 questions with the board game Clue, the card game Gin, and the social game Who Am I?
I've Got a Theory is a game involving 2 decks of cards, organism cards depicting a wide range of animals, and attribute cards representing primary attributes of the various animals such as locomotion, sustenance, exterior, and habitat. An organism card is randomly dealt to each player and blindly revealed to all other players. No player knows the animal they are dealt. That player's goal is to discern what sort of organism they represent by making a series of declarations of hypothesis based on observations they have made and receiving yes or no responses from opponents.
The language of the hypothesis declaration is important. Players who do not form their question properly do not receive an answer and so forfeit their turn. This specific language is written out on cue cards to help players master the method. Declaration of hypothesis is phrased in the following way.
I have observed A, B, and C, and so I hypothesize that my animal has blank.
If there is any dissent or confusion among players in regard to how a question should be answered, players are encouraged to explore outside sources such as the internet, a textbook, or a teacher. Any discussion, however, must be clandestine in order to keep the player posing a hypothesis in the dark. In addition, players are encouraged to use these forms of independent research in order to develop their own hypotheses.
The game's primary victory condition involves identifying one's mystery animal with an equally specific form of question. Once a player is sure they know what their animal is, they await their turn and declare,
I have proven that my animal has a following characteristics, A, B, and C, and so therefore present my theory that it is a blank.
Meanwhile, attribute cards are drawn, traded, and discarded with the goal of properly representing a player's mystery organism in their hand. These attributes help players focus their line of questioning, while also providing an opportunity for extra points at the end of the game.
With this system, players are compelled to get the most details about their organism as they build a strong hand, but recognize that time might be running out as other players grow closer to developing sound hypotheses toward a solid theory. Here the role of strategy enters the game, and the competitive nature of play helps engage the player more deeply with the subject. In the end, I've Got a Theory helps students understand the workings of the scientific method while also learning about a given subject. This initial module was developed to help students understand the animal kingdom, but any subject could be used.
Future modules that Colmena has in development involve another biology module featuring cell characteristics, as well as a chemistry module involving elements which help define the periodic table.